Morning, very good morning. Now stop bombarding me with WhatsApp messages. Finally, I have succumbed. I have been very busy, so I couldn't shoot uh, videos. So here I am, back uh, with my queer theory series lectures, and this is probably the third installment of this online lecture series. Now, I'll be talking today about violence, about the dynamics of violence, about the politics of violence. Now, we often see violence when, and only probably only when people kill each other, people beat each other, people break noses of each other, they tear their hair apart, and all those things. These are the usually the occasions that we tend to associate with violence. Now, something that we need to remember that violence is sometimes done almost imperceptibly, and that is where the gendering of a baby becomes important. The gendering of a baby could be called an act of violence. Now, the question is how or why? There you go. We dump gender identity to the baby without the baby's consent. That is, whenever a baby is born, we categorize either it as a male or as a female. I mean, the baby has to be categorized in either of those boxes. Now, we impute our patriarchal categorization, therefore, and this imputing is something that I would associate with violence. Child is often denied, what should I call, agency, and child should have been allowed to be a free floating signifier. Now, we dump class, that is, we dump caste, we dump race on the child. So similarly, the child is Hindu, so mom and dad are Hindu, so child is Hindu. So mom and dad are rich, so child is rich. Mom and dad are fair, so child is fair. So mom and dad are say uh, of one ethnic identity, so the child becomes of that ethnic origin. Now this is how we keep dumping classes, castes, and races as soon as a baby is born. Now, similarly, we have to understand this. Similarly, we dump gender whenever a fresh new life comes out of the womb. And how? Because whenever a baby is born, a beautiful nurse who's always come to you and lifts up the towel and shows, oh, there is something in between the legs. And when you say there is something in between the legs, we say, okay, congratulations. আপনি বাবা হয়েছেন, পুত্র সন্তানের ছেলের বাবা হয়েছেন. So everybody dies in joy, everybody dies in happiness, everybody dies in delight. So now, and why would not they be ছেলের বাবা, ছেলের মা, ছেলের ঠাকুমা, ছেলের দিদিমা, and blah blah blah. And but whenever there is the information that there is nothing between the legs and the nurse lifts a towel, oh, now everybody hides in shame. মেয়ে হয়েছে, আর তো কিছুই বলার নেই. So now this is how this dumping of gendered ontology happens as soon as the nurse lifts the towel and shows if there is something or there isn't something between the legs of that newborn baby. So, how cruel, isn't it? It is. And therefore, I consider this very act of lifting the towel and showing if there is something between the legs of the baby or not is an act of violence. It is an act of violence. And why do I think it's an act of violence? Because it inflicts, it imputes gender on the baby's body. And whenever we do that, we are committing an act of cultural violence. Oops, vultural violence, should I say. So it's not a cultural violence, it's a vultural violence. So the very act of gendering the baby, the very act of gendering the baby is an act of violence. And many people, they are really looking for, and now they are looking to go out to their offices, reach out to their working places, because domestic violence is increasing. Now, coming back from the baby's imputed violence to the domestic violence, because they think that home is not safer like the office. So office ironically becomes more safer than home. So কবে যে অফিসটা খুলবে বাঁচা যায়. So that's how it works. And who says that? The loving couples, the husbands, the wives, and they call it love. And by the way, the spelling of love is not L-O-V. Spelling of love is Patriarchal. Yes, patriarchal. I'll come back to this. I'll get back to this. Maybe in this video, maybe sometime later in those videos that I would upload sometime in August. So violence begins exactly when the nurse lifts the a towel and shows the baby's genitalia, and therefore the child is therefore never allowed to select his or her gender, because the moment child grows up, the child is told that you are a boy, you should behave in a masculine manner, you are a girl, you should behave in a feminine manner, and I don't know what this masculine manner and feminine manners are all about. And it obviously reminds me of Sam Shelvedurai's Funny Boy, which I teach at third semester students. And now and often there an RG is called girly boy. Now this very act of not allowing the child to select, to choose his or her gender, is an act of violence. And therefore it's very important that we disobey, we the newborns, the growing up boys and girls disobey, because we have every right to select and choose our gender, our caste, our creed, our ethnicity, and everything. Doesn't necessarily mean I will be Hindu if I am born out of Hindu parents. I may choose to be a Muslim, I may choose to be a Jew, I may choose to be a Catholic, I may choose to be a different religion altogether. So the very option of choosing, the very option of selection allows me for an agency. And every individual, when he is denied agency, according to Michel Foucault, he becomes a subject. And biopower becomes effective there in Foucaultian terms. So therefore, in order for me to hold on to my agency, in order for any individual to hold on to his or her agency, it's very important to disobey, not to allow ourselves to be disciplined or be punished. Obviously, I am owing a lot to Michel Foucault, his discipline and punish, and his order of things, and his history of sexuality, particularly volume 1. Now therefore, the gendering becomes one of the most cruel acts that culture could offer us. Now, often, people ask, now let's get back to the third category of the violence. Often people ask me, why, Rajat, why are you not getting married? Please don't get married. I mean, why are you not getting married? I mean, please. I mean, you are an old guy now. Please start getting married. So, what they are asking me, they are not asking me to get married. They are asking me to where my genital is heading, to where I am putting my dick into. Now, when we say that, they are asking if whether I am heterosexual and monogamous, if I am performing monogamous heterosexuality or not. So this begs us one more question: that when I completed my honors, when I completed my masters, when I would complete my PhD, how many people would I invite? How many people? None, very few. But if I do get married, the colleagues and the students and the teachers and the professors, they keep asking that আপনার বিয়েটা খেতে বাকি আছে. So I would invite obviously more people. So why do I invite more people when I get married, but not when I get a degree? Because marriage is more public than achieving degrees or certificates or accomplishing something academically and professionally. Why? Because sexuality is not as private as we think it to be, and otherwise we would not invite so many people in marriage. Otherwise nobody would invite so many people in marriage. So the thing is that marriage is the most public occasion. It is a testimony to the fact that sex, sexuality, gender is not as private as it is discursively made out to be. I'm pronouncing it loudly. Sex, gender, sexuality, they are the most public discourse that this culture would ever come across. And that's why I find the spelling of love is patriarchal. And when are you getting married? I don't know. When are you getting married? I don't know. Who would take care of you in future if you don't get married? But I don't know who would take care of me. But definitely I would not invite you for sure. Okay, on this very angry note, on this masculine note, with this thought, let's take a leave, and maybe we'll see you soon with some other videos. But meanwhile, you take care of your family, your heterosexuality, your monogamous heterosexual family, and stay home and stay safe. See you soon.